Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to replace all the grommets in your corset just like this one. So let's get started. Alright, so you can see that I have removed all the grommets from this corset here, and what I'm going to do, I want to reinforce this last panel here because if the grommets fell out once, there's a chance that they might fall out again since the fabric has already started to damage right around that waist there. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to just remove the stitching of the binding of that last panel, remove the stitching of those last two boning channels, and put in a bit of heavy duty canvas so that the grommets, when I put in new grommets, it will have something to grip. Now, you don't have to quite do that much work if you don't want to. If you have a bit of matching fabric or even a contrasting fabric that goes nicely with the rest of your corset, then you can hide a little bit of canvas or twill underneath that and sew it down using a whip stitch. So you don't have to go into as much detail as I'm going to, but I want it to look basically exactly the same as it does now on the front and the back since I don't have any matching fabric. And so I'm going to put the reinforcement on the inside. Okay, so you can see that I have taken out the binding on the top and also the bottom, and I've taken out 3 seams. I was trying to only take out 2 seams, but the way that this canvas that I was trying to put in there was catching on the interfacing on the inside, I pretty much had no choice but to take out another seam. So I took out that back one, and basically what I'm going to do is put this strip of reinforcing canvas inside, sandwich it, and then sew it all back into place so that when I put the grommets in, it's going to have a little bit more to grip onto. I folded the edge of the fabric over the canvas so there would be no exposed edges. Then I top stitched the back edge close again. Even though the back seam doesn't bear quite as much tension as, say, the center front seam that holds the buskin, I double stitched it nonetheless, using a narrow foot to get as close to the edge as possible. I trimmed down the excess canvas after that on either end sticking out of the corset. It's better for me to start with a strip too long than too short. I then restitched the boning channels adjacent to the grommets, following the line of pricks that had been left from the seam before. If you want to, you can use a zipper foot for that step, as I almost had a few close calls with the toe on one side of my foot almost going into the hole left by the old grommets. I then replaced the boning and then reattached the binding in that area. Now, unless you completely replace this back panel, you're going to want to use grommets that were larger than the grommets that were originally in here. So they had used 00 grommets the first time. I'm going to be using size 0 grommets the second time because the holes have already stretched out. So if you put a grommet in that's exactly the same size, there's a chance of it falling out again. So I'm going to use these bigger ones. These ones are in gold, so they will actually match the really pretty gold tones that are on the brocade already, and they also have a larger lip around them, so it's going to grip on a little bit better. Additionally, I'm not going to punch holes. I realize there are already holes in the outside and the inside fabric there, but I want it to grip onto the canvas as much as possible, so I'm still going to use an awl to put these grommets in. Also, be sure to use fray stop when doing this, as it prevents the fabric from ripping or fraying any further. So here you can see one side of the corset with all the grommets inserted, and yes, they are rather large, perhaps aesthetically a little bit too large for the cincher. However, it was necessary to do this to make sure that they weren't going to fall out anymore. So they seem to be holding really well. I don't see any way that it's going to fray anymore. So I'm just going to complete the second half of this corset, and then let's lace it up and see how it works. I'm just in the middle of putting in the grommets of the second half of the corset here, but I was suddenly reminded of something. People who have the Home Pro LR, a lot of their complaints is that it's uncomfortable to use when you're setting a whole corset because this handle is completely cast iron. Now, I've looked online everywhere to find really cheap spongy handlebar covers, the type of covers that you put on your bicycles. However, sometimes those prices can be kind of preposterous. So what I did is I went to my local Chinatown and I got a pair of practice nunchucks, and these are just around $5. I'm sure if you find them online it could be even less than that. And these are practice nunchucks that have sponge covering over it, and so you can just buy one of those and stick it on the end of this handle here, and so you will be comfortable while you're setting your grommets. And here is the end result. So you can see that the grommets are working very well. They're very nice and staying in. I don't think they're going to pop out anytime soon. So I would consider this a success. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. If you did like it, then please click the like button and help support the channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.